Yay! Awesome. So nice to see your face instead of over
So
the
nice
phone.
to meet you too.
Yeah. So how is your day going? Have you
It's
been
going
outside
wonderfully.
yet?
I'm sorry?
Have you been outside yet?
I have. I went outside for a nice jog. It's quite warm.
Good. Oh, that's impressive. I went for a jog yesterday and I went down by the water and then there was just so many people. I'm like, I'm just going to turn around. So I did. Anyways, so I guess we'll start this off and get this started. So, Linda, if you just want to introduce yourself and share a bit of your story, that would be great.
Sure. So my name is Linda. I am 23 years young, this April 28th. And I am a certified health coach, personal trainer, and also a certified yoga teacher. I'm a new graduate from York University in acting. I'm super passionate about learning what it is to be in the human condition, what it is to be creative, and I have aspirations of taking my life coaching business into a full-time business. I was working part-time at a supplement store up until this whole shenanigan happened. And now I'm just taking some time to recalibrate with myself, blog a little bit here and there, and share some of the things that I've personally been learning on my self-development and wellness journey. So that's a little bit about myself.
Awesome. So, can you tell us a bit more about your mental health journey and where you've come from and where you're hoping to spread your knowledge?
Yeah, so I would like to say that my mental health started taking a dive sometime in middle school slash high school when it was just an awkward time for me to just get to know myself, and I was going through I've always felt like I had a trouble fitting in and knowing who my social circles were. So during that time, I delved into a lot of like exploring. So I tried out fitness and I fell in love with acting, and that's what I majored in. And those creative outlets gave me somewhere where I can focus, where I can put my focus, where I can put my, lonely feelings aside and say, okay, this is what I enjoy, and this is a temporary escape to a life that I currently cannot cope with at the moment. So that evolved over the years. In high school, I went to a performing arts school. I thought it was going to be the best thing in my life. It turns out it wasn't, but you live and you learn. And afterwards, I think I've dabbled in a lot of good and maladaptive coping mechanisms when it comes to loneliness and depression and anxiety. So, for example, fitness and acting was definitely one of the great coping mechanisms that I have. It gave me a great outlet. Some maladaptive ones were the binging and the food addiction and the self-sabotaging, right? I started doing things that were so against my own values. I didn't even know why I was doing them, right? I was not in alignment with my highest self. I was not respecting myself in terms of what I personally valued. So, for example, overstuffing myself to procrastinate, to numb out the feeling. I started stealing things, and I just feel like I felt so shameful, and I don't know what it was that propelled me to want to do it, but I know that I'm better than those actions. And I knew at that certain moment that this could turn into something terrible, and I need to stop myself now. I need to stop myself now. And so, going through like an up and down phase of living and learning, turning to spirituality, which has brought me so much peace when it comes to mental health, in releasing full control over my life and saying, you know what? I can't do this alone. I really, really can't do this alone. Spirit, I need you to help me. I need you to give me the strength, and I need you to give me the self-compassion for me to move forward, because I know that I deserve to thrive in life and not just survive and not feel like this every single day. I know there's something wonderful waiting for me out there. I'm open to seeing the other side. I need you to take me there.
I hear you. I think what your your values are now are really resonating with me. I guess could you give us a little bit more insight, because what I want to get out of these talks is a little bit more raw in terms of the feelings you were feeling, and giving a little bit more information on maybe how what binge eating is for those who are suffering, and maybe they don't recognize this in themselves, but maybe you can provide a little bit of clarity, so that way if people are feeling that same way, they can kind of assess their feelings, and if you had asked for help, or that sort of thing.
Okay, yes. So binge eating to me is not a certain amount of, it's not necessarily a certain amount of food devoured in a short amount of time. Although if you perhaps look into DSM, it's basically eating a lot of food in a short amount of time. For me, it's the intention that goes behind your eating. Are you eating it in a anxious, anxiety-ridden, distressed manner really
Right.
fast? Okay. And I want to make that distinction, because there's a difference between eating for joy and eating out of personal distress. So
Mm.
for me, the binge eating was to numb out the feelings, was to procrastinate, and was to deal with this anxiety that I didn't know how to deal with. I wanted to, I just wanted to shove something aside. I wanted something to do. And so I turned to food for that. And obviously it didn't make my situation any better, whatever I was going through. If anything, it left me feeling sweaty, hot, lazy, so much guilt and so much shame afterward. My face was greasy. I felt I felt sluggish afterwards. I was hungover with sugar, and I would purposely binge so that I could pass out and not have to deal with the day. Like that's how it was for myself. And in terms of, you know, how it is now, it's a lot better because I've implemented a lot more strategies to cope with the certain crisis that happens in life. So A, taking preventative measures instead of waiting for a crisis to happen to actually do something about my mental well-being, implementing habits like a morning routine and a nighttime routine to ground myself. To take preventative measures like that really helps a lot. Another thing that really helped me is actually cutting out the sugar. So I currently eat a keto paleo diet. So that basically means I eat a wholesome based diet full of meats, limited vegetables, and also lots of oils. That keeps my blood sugar levels stable so that I'm not having these crashes for energy and crashes for mood. And that has helped a lot um, over my cravings, especially during high school. So
Yeah.
those are some of the things that I've personally gone through. I think if you are going through binge eating, get support. It is so hard to do it by yourself, and it will only prolong the process, and it will only dishearten you even more. You are not alone. A lot of this happens behind closed doors. Nobody knew that I was going through food addiction and binge eating because I hid it so well. I hid it so friggin' well. And you'll be surprised the amount of people that you actually heal by sharing your stories, by seeking out support. Okay, a lot of girls are going through this, and all of guys as well. So seek out support. You can seek out a therapist. You can seek out a life coach like myself. You can seek out somebody to talk to. The last thing you want to do is hide this by yourself.
So in terms of, let's say you are in isolation right now with quarantine, and let's say you're, going through this yourself, what do you say to people, or male or female that are, living with family members and they feel very scared to open up to them, and there's this shame that you talked about. How do you talk to those people?
I would set aside the time to, with your family, say, I have something important to say, and this really means a lot to me. Please take it seriously because this is really distressing me. And then sit them down and talk about how you feel, not necessarily the actions you are doing, because when you say the actions you're doing, it's very subjective on how severe of a problem it is to that person. But when you talk about how you feel, there's no denying how much it's affecting you. Hey, so and so, this is really something hard that I'm going through right now. And it's hard for me to admit this, but I am binging a lot and I'm eating a lot of food and it's not making me feel good. It's making me feel shameful. I keep having bouts of crying and this is something that is really, really distressing me. And I really want you to hear me out and see me for what I'm doing. I don't want you, I'm not necessarily looking for advice. I'm not necessarily looking for you to fix me, but I need you to know that I need your understanding and emotional support right now. That's all I ask.
Awesome. That's really, really great advice. What about those people that are, let's say, since we are living in Toronto, maybe those who are suffering that are alone in their condos, in their confines of their living space, that are suffering, and they kind of have to be their own mental health coach at this moment. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you can provide to those people, as well as obviously, reaching out to, finding some sort of connection online, but internally, what can they do when they feel isolated?
That's really tough. And I was very nervous about this happening too, because as an extrovert, I thrive on having other stimulation. And now that I'm home alone with the fridge, we can all be really prone to binging. So something I really recommend is having having resources online. There's a lot of therapists offering discounted or free therapy just to have somebody to talk to right now. That is a huge first step that you can do. Another thing is there are online articles and videos that you can tune into as well. Educate yourself. Educate yourself so that you have the tools necessary to pull out of your tool belt should you have an urge. Okay, I have a few articles on my blog, thefitty.com, 5 ways to stop a binge, 13 reasons why you're binging, right? Delve into these free resources, educate yourself. And the last thing I want to say is have a conversation every single day. Oh no, two last things. Have a conversation every single day with somebody. Okay? You could tell them about your food addiction or binge addiction or not. But having that social interaction is really nourishing on a soul level. And the thing is, when we have an addiction, we're trying to nourish something that we're starving for with food or with another substance.
Yes.
And it's never going to fill the hole, because what you're looking for is soul nourishment. And I will tell you, social connection will feed your soul. So that's one of them. Another thing is to get outside every single day. Get out of the house. It's making you stir crazy. You're next to the fridge all day long. Okay? Get into the sunshine. Get some vitamin D. Get some fresh air. Clear your mind. It's going to get you to breathe. And it's going to get you to breathe. And I want to say that if you feel like you're doing these things, but you're still having the urges and you're still binging, keep showing up. Keep doing these things.
Oh,
Because when you're
that's
putting
so
the
true.
intention out there, when you're putting the intention out there and you're just showing up for yourself, you're making a statement to the universe saying, I am willing to change. I am willing to put in the work, even when the going gets hard. I'm giving myself the opportunity to change this.
Yeah.
And that's a great start.
And I love the fact that you said showing up for yourself, because I think right now this time is even tougher for people when they are alone, or they're, you know, suffering alone with their emotions and feelings. And I think having the courage to take those first steps, whether that's walking outside for 5 minutes and feeling the sun, or, you know, looking up information to educate yourself. I think those are really, really amazing things to tell people. I mean, even though they may feel like small steps,
Mm-hmm.
it's actually a big step in
Oh,
terms of
yeah,
their,
it adds up.
yeah.
It's so, you can't go from zero to hero. It's very rare that you would ever go from zero to hero. It's all about the small steps in between, and then you end up walking a kilometer, and then you end up walking a marathon,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I wholeheartedly believe. And I think that those are the things that we just need to remind ourselves, even when we like get in a small rut, is that, you know, we're doing the best that we can. And if you're trying, and if you're, you know, taking that first step, or going for a run, or, you know, talking to people, I mean, those connections and those um, physical movements are something that people should really take heed of. I think
Oh,
it's
yeah,
great.
for
Yeah.
sure, for sure, for sure. When you take care of yourself, everything else in your life starts to get better, right?
Yeah.
If you've ever gone to work and you had a workout before, aren't you so much happier? You're so much more productive. You're so much brighter. And that customer that's complaining, you just brush her
It's
off.
okay.
So yeah, it's all okay. When you heal
Yeah.
yourself, let me tell you, when you heal yourself, you heal the world. You really do heal the
Yeah.
world with your light and your happiness. So your number one job is to feel happy, is to take care of yourself.
And I think a lot of people too, and I've even talked to parents that are, um, you know, feeling like they have to take care of all their kids and make sure everyone's okay. And it's like, okay, but take care of yourself. Like, limit what you're, you know, viewing on television. You know, go read a book. Like, really take that time, because I feel like there's so much pressure on people to like worry about their children, worry about their parents,
Um,
worry about their
yeah,
friends. I mean, it's crazy. So I think taking that time to really, you know, take care of yourself is really important.
for sure. And when you're not showing up as your 100%, as the 100% friend or the 100% mom or whoever you are, you're doing a disservice to the person that you're with. You're
Yeah,
not present with them, right? You're not your best self, and they can feel it. Especially if you are also a parent, you're modeling to your children to slave away at their life, and
yeah,
that's not, you know, I don't know if that's the message that you want to share with your children. When you begin to take care of yourself, they're able to see that. They're able to feel it. They're able to
yep,
feel it, and they're able to learn from that.
yeah. No, 100%. So let's get into a little bit of what drives you to get up in the morning. Like, what inspires you to do what you do, since you're now a life coach, you've just graduated from acting, and it's so great to see such a smile on your face after the kind of the obstacles that you've been through.
Yeah, so what gets me out of bed? I'll be honest, a lot of times it's hard for me to get out of bed. It's hard for me to get out of bed and want to do anything because there's a voice inside myself, in my head, that says, you're not worthy of anything. What do you have to contribute? You don't know what you're doing. What are you doing with your life? Right? What is there to look forward to? But I know the truth deep in my heart that there are things that light me up, and being of service and transforming people is something that truly lights me up. I love it when I'm able to provide a heart my heart to somebody in terms of a service, in terms of giving a gift, in terms of, you know, being an employee, being a coach. I want to make a difference, and that makes me feel good. And that is what drives me to get up every day and do something for myself, so I'm able to show up 100% for my boss, for, you know, my friend, whatever it is. And it feels good to feel good. It really
Yeah.
feels good to feel good.
And I think that it's also, I find, and it's something my mom actually has said to me before, is when you're doing something for someone else, it actually makes you forget about the worries that you have, and you're kind of putting your emotions into helping others. So I really do think that being of service and, you know, find something that you're doing that makes you feel like you're giving back, even if it's just a little bit that you can focus on, that you have some sort of purpose.
Yeah.
And I
So
think
you
it's
also
really,
get out of your head. Wow. You also get out
yeah,
of your head.
yep, yeah, agreed. So in terms of, I guess we've already discussed that, but what would you say in terms of some simple day-to-day tactics would you say for your everyday? For like getting out of bed, or what type of exercises would you say? Do you do meditation? Like, what's a
Okay.
day in the life of a life coach? Please tell us.
For me, this is this is during quarantine, I'll say. So my daily routine looks like me getting up. I would listen to a podcast, and I would drink a lot of water first thing in the morning, okay, just so I can get my system flushed out, take my vitamins, and then I would move my body somehow. So usually this looks like nowadays following a YouTube workout on YouTube. I would follow that, okay, and then I would jog it
Which
out,
ones are
get
you
some nice.
following?
I follow this girl named Sydney Cummings. I really love her. She has
Okay, cool.
fantastic workouts online that you can follow along real time. Yes, so I do a little bit of that. I get my body moving, so I feel more limber in the day. And when they say it's also a meditative workout, right? So I do
Hmm.
that, and a nice jog or a run or a walk to get some fresh air and also vitamin D to flush out the lactic acid from the body from that YouTube workout. Afterwards, I come home and I sit down and I usually meditate for anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes on an app called Insight Timer. It's fantastic. It has some guided meditation, or you can just use music or nature sounds. And I would meditate for a little bit. I would visualize and imagine different things. So, for example, I would imagine my ideal day or my ideal life or the things that I'm grateful for. Those are
Mm.
my favorite. It gets me to spend time, and it creates a lot of patience within myself as well. After that, I would jump on my computer and I would do a few emails, do a new blog post, read a self-development book, maybe have a call with my own coach, or I have a consultation with somebody from Instagram. I'm currently offering health check-ins for those in the quarantine.
Cool.
That I would make myself this meal, like a steak. I have some steak, or
That sounds
salmon, or
delicious.
yes, I love my steak rare. Um, so I would have a little bit of that, and then I would continue to do some work on my computer. I would also tune out with some YouTube videos, watch some of my favorite YouTubers, and then in the afternoon, I also make sure that I go outside sometime around 4 or 5 p.m. just to get in some more fresh air, and then I start getting stir crazy if I'm in the house for too long. So I go
Yeah.
outside for a nice walk for about an hour. I come home, do some yoga, stretch it out for about an hour, and then I dive into a nice book or a nice phone conversation with somebody else. And that basically looks like my day.
That sounds like an amazing day. I'm a little bit jealous of it. Can you recommend maybe some podcasts that you're listening to right now?
Oh, there's so many that I listen to. One that I really like is called Earn Your Happy by
Oh,
Lori
I listened
Harder.
to her, Lori Harder. Yeah,
I love her.
she's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I listened to that, Earn Your Happy by Lori Harder. I also listened to Evolve with Emily Hayden.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Both
And
self-development ones.
cool. And then, what was the last book that you read?
Oh, the last book I read. Exponential Living by Sherry Riley. Exponential Living.
All right. Cool. And what were some of the insights that you found from that book that has kind of
Um,
helped you?
Good question. It's basically reaffirmed a lot of the things I personally knew, like relying on a higher power, relying upon God, spirit, whatever you call the entity up there taking care of us, and also um, putting in the practice of putting in the work, but also surrendering outcome. Right? It's about showing up and then letting go of what happens and getting back up when things don't go the way that you want to.
Yes.
It
Yes.
was like a great pep talk, and I actually had a great phone call with her the other day. Sherry Riley is really, really generous with her time, and she's
Wow.
phenomenal. She's phenomenal. So yeah, she and I had a great chat, had a good cry, and I felt
Those are always
empowered after
needed.
talking to her. Yeah, a good cry is good sometimes.
I think people need to do more of that in terms of like feeling their feelings, no matter if you're male, female, or otherwise, is being able to really feel okay to let it out. Like,
Yeah,
cry it out.
cry.
Um,
Yeah, it is because once you let go of that gunk, you create so much space
yes.
to feel it. You create the space for the good feelings to come in. But first, you gotta let it out.
You just gotta let it out. Don't
Yeah,
worry about the ugly cry.
yeah.
So, in terms of anxiety and depression, I know that a lot of people are obviously going through this. So, what's kind of like what's a general advice that you would give to someone to cheer up a friend or a family member?
Mm. Um, Seek support. You don't have to get a therapist if
Mm-hmm.
you want. That's fine, but seek support in saying it to somebody. So you're not keeping it to themselves. So somebody knows, and so that you can get it out of your system. Humans were made to be social creatures. We're not made to be in social isolation. We die in social isolation. So with social affiliation, you're able to express yourself in that way. And when you do that, you start to heal yourself deeply.
Yep.
Deeply start to heal yourself. So I would
Yeah.
start with that. Besides that, I would also start taking care of yourself physically. So are you sleeping enough? And are you getting quality? Are you exercising? What's your diet like? Right? If you can't change the circumstances of your life, you can start by elevating your physical body to withstand all of the stressors of the rest of your
Yes.
life. And when you do that, everything else doesn't seem like as big of a deal as before.
And I think people actually don't realize how much physical and mental health really affect you and your life and how you react to things. And
Mm.
I think you're completely right in making your body strong with the foods that you eat and the workouts that you do. I think this is, what's going to help you withstand the stuff that's happening on the external, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I feel like it often gets overlooked because people want instant gratification in solving their life problems. And I will tell you,
Yes.
even though all these like the perfect diet and the perfect exercise, whatever, it's not going to solve your problems. It's going to elevate you to such a point where you're able to withstand it so much better. So much better. And you don't see this because it's not instant gratification. It is a practice, but you are worth it. And again, the small steps, and you end up running a marathon. So it's really, really important to do that.
Amazing. And I just have one more question, and then maybe we'll open it up to anyone who wants to ask anything. But what are 3 things you're grateful for today?
I love that question. Oh, I'm so glad you asked. I am grateful for the beautiful weather outside. So it's given me the opportunity to run and to smell the fresh air. And I actually ran in my t-shirt for once because I always wear a
Woo!
winter. Yeah, it's nice. So I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for you, Erin, for having
Oh,
this, because when I'm able to share my story, I know not only does it heal myself, but it also heals those that are going through something similar, are willing to hear our story, and they know that they're not alone. On a quantum level, they're starting to heal as well. So I love having the opportunity to share. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do that. And my last one is, hmm,
there's too much to be grateful for, really.
there's a lot. Pick one that really stands out to me. I'm grateful for I'm grateful for the steak that I'm about to eat afterwards.
Oh, yes.
Gonna
Yes,
be
that having the good food. Good food is good.
yes, yes. How about you? What are
Anyways,
you grateful for?
what am I grateful for? I am grateful for the courage to kind of start this initiative. It's been a long time coming. I am grateful to be able to talk to people like you and being able to connect with individuals that are passionate about mental health and helping, and being able to share their stories with the world. And I'm grateful for the people that are coming onto this live session. And even if you're joining us at the end, which I see a couple of you have, which is completely fine. At least you are taking the time to join us, to talk about the things that matter and talk about the things that not a lot of people talk about, and getting really, really real
Mm,
with the community, because I think that that is lacking. And especially right now, I think we really do need to share our stories and our voice and our feelings. As much as people think that that's, not a great thing to do, it's only going to make us more human and make
yeah,
this experience of life more enjoyable. So
yeah,
that
yeah.
is what I'm grateful for. I think I got 3, but I don't really remember where I started. So maybe we
That's
will
beautiful.
turn it over to some of our viewers to see if there's any questions at all. And if not, we are going to end this chat, but I will be posting this interview after the fact.
Mhm.
And I will be giving the links for Linda's, all her contacts, so her Instagram, her Facebook, her website, if you want to connect with her about life coaching or just ask some questions about her mental health journey that you learned on the live session today. And maybe some questions on any resources that she may be able to help provide, or any of those books she's reading. So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
Yeah, so if there's any questions, feel free to drop it down in the comments below. Here's your chance to ask your life questions. I would also like to say that if you are going through specifically binge eating disorder or any sort of food addiction, I have a resource right on my blog. And if you click my profile to my link tree, one of the links is the direct free resource on how you can beat the binge and ways that you can get support for yourself. So I highly, highly recommend that. It's absolutely free. And something that I'm really, really excited about, I've just started to launch a 3-week mindset manifestation series in which you choose one area of your life that you would like to amplify and manifest your desire of your dream. And I take you through the module, and it is at a discounted rate right now. So I have a few spots open. If that is something that you want to work with and you're not too sure about working one-on-one and you want to do something like a workshop, feel free to contact me about that. I'll send you all the information about that.
Amazing. That sounds so great. I'm so excited for you and your
Me
life
too.
coaching business. God, I love this industry, and it has been so great to talk to you, Linda. I'm so happy that we were able to share your story, because I know a lot of people would not have the courage that you do to share those things. So thank you very much for being vulnerable. And again, we will share all the links we can to your to connect with you, and we will speak soon.
Absolutely. And before we go, I just want to acknowledge you, Erin, for the work that you're doing. I think this is a
Oh,
wonderful time to delve into your side hustle. I can tell that you're really passionate about mental health, and I just want to acknowledge you for being a healer in this world, for using your platform for something good, and for connecting me and connecting everybody around you to a source that I know is going to be incredible in people's lives. So thank you for doing what you do, and don't stop.
oh, thank you, Linda. Well, I think that's the key to life, is find something you like doing and do it. So,
Yeah, yeah.
especially if it helps people. So, I'm all about the helping. Anyway, so we will see everyone next week. Again, we will be back here Tuesday at 2 p.m. for Let's Talk Tuesday. And hopefully everyone has a great week and stay positive.
All right.
Okay, bye everyone.
Namaste. Bye.
Bye.